takes action, all those years will soon fly on by. But it's a battle between good that we have to fight. It's a challenge for all people like you and I. La 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 la. La 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 la. Woo. La 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 la. It's like la 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 la. La 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 la. Ain't it funny how those years seem to fly on by? Ain't it silly, the things that make you laugh, make you cry? It's a challenge for our people like you and I. La 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 la. Woo. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Thank you for joining us here at CSL Denver for our Sunday services. We appreciate your attention. 2021 has continued to be an interesting year, to say the least. We know with everything going on in the world, life can feel overwhelming. At CSL Denver, we want you to know we are here. Please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. Our names and phone numbers are available on our website at www.csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, please email it to info@csldenver.org. Reverend Elzia, along with our guest speakers, all our practitioners, our music and service coordinators, all want you to know how truly grateful we are for your online support that you have given us all. Thank you for watching our Sunday services, attending our online workshops and events, and for providing financial support so that we can keep our virtual doors open. We love you all and know we will be seeing you in person in the right and perfect time. And for now, we'll continue to meet online until further notice. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Please go to www.csldenver.org to sign up. We only send out one per week. Or send an email to info@csldenver.org and request to be put on our mailing list. We're proud to continue to offer virtual fellowship. This week we are having our usual Zoom fellowship right after service. If you haven't already received an email this morning, please send an email to info@csldenver.org to request a Zoom invitation. Please join us. We would love to say hi and catch up with you. We had so much fun at our picnic in June that we've decided to add another in-person get-together, social distancing of course. Please mark your calendar for Saturday, August 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at City Park off Colorado Boulevard. We thought it would be easier to have it in the same location as the June picnic, so those who came will know where to meet. Bring your own food and water, a chair or a blanket, and anything else that makes you feel comfortable. We'll be meeting on the south side of Farrell Lake. You can rent paddle boats and bicycles too. East 17th Avenue is still closed at Colorado Boulevard. If you come in from the south or west, you can park in one of the streets like Cook, Madison, or Monroe at 17th, and then just cross the street to get to Farrell Lake. Please mark your calendar for Sunday, September 12th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, as practitioner Alice Nutter will be facilitating a workshop on moving from drama to empowerment. This group will cover the Karpman's drama triangle and empowerment dynamic, as taught by David Emerald, and discuss various ways to move out of drama into empowerment in your life. The cost is a love offering. The workshop will be held via Zoom. If you're interested in attending, please send us an email at info@csldenver.org to receive your Zoom invitation. Thank you for listening, and now back to our service.
Looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow. I'm looking for a little guidance to fight away all this fear, using the armor of Father with protection from His shield. Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done. Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done. I'm looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow. I'm looking for a little guidance to wipe away all these tears, using the armor of Father protection from his shield. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I'm looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow. I'm looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow.
Good morning, and thank you, Freddie. That was lovely. So I'm Alice Nutter, a practitioner here at CSL Denver, and I invite you to, let's move into our invocation for the morning. So if you're comfortable with it, please close your eyes and just sit back in your seat and just take in a deep breath. And just release into that space, in that place, that knowing that Spirit is here, guiding us, loving us, moving us into this great expansion of life that we are in. Pardon me. And so from this place, just knowing that we are so truly blessed with this service, with this teaching of the science of mind, and knowing that it is such a gift to us. And as Reverend Elzia's talk this morning will reflect that knowingness also, that deep truth of who each and every one of us is. And I am so grateful and thankful for CSL Denver, for all who choose to get up on Sunday mornings and watch this service, and all who watch it during the week, knowing that we are also truly blessed, and knowing that the world is blessed, even though seemingly it's not always looking that way, just knowing that Spirit is there always. And I'm so grateful. And from that place of deep, deep gratitude, I release this into that one mind, that one heart, knowing that all is well, and it is so. And so it is. And so our reading this morning is from Audrey Stanton. What is intentional living? Intentional living means understanding your fundamental beliefs and values and then actively living your life in line with those values. Don't believe your feelings, believe your values. Feelings are situational, but values are consistent. Tapping into those values on a daily basis marks the difference between living life passively and living it intentionally. Living intentionally requires slowing down, digging deep, and being mindful of your actions. The first step is to accept that life is made up of choices. You can choose to connect with your beliefs, or you can choose to let others guide your decisions. Identifying, implementing, and staying in touch with your values is a lifelong practice and well worth it. Your values are your North Star, the guiding light in your life. When you're able to unpack what really makes you tick versus what you think should be motivating you, you discover that you don't need to play by anyone else's rules. And you don't need to travel halfway around the world to get in touch with yourself. To flesh out your core values, you can start by asking yourself questions and zeroing in on peak experiences in your life, as well as the moments when you felt the need to suppress feelings and the things which fill you up each day. Investigate the motivations behind your lifestyle choices and whether the reasoning behind your decisions feels true to you or not. Once you've identified your values, implementing them requires a bit of reflection as well. By clarifying your values and the reasons behind them, you can set goals and take action in order to strengthen your relationship with those values. In addition, become mindful of how you spend your time and build in bite-sized daily or weekly rituals to support your values. Small acts like journaling for 15 minutes, going for a walk, or doing some sort of spiritual practice like meditating, affirmative prayer, or sacred study can keep you grounded in your truth. Intentional living is more than setting thoughtful plans. It's also about how you react when those When those plans are suddenly thrown out the window or the world begins to lead you astray, you have something to lean back on. If you're not bravely living according to your values, then you're just following the flow of traffic. When you're consistently connected to your core beliefs, you discover who you are, even in uncertain or uncomfortable times. And now from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, from This Thing Called You. In such degree as your thought has a preponderance of successful feeling, your living will become successful. The law of life can work for you only as it works through your thought patterns. Since it is possible to control your thoughts, it is possible to control your destiny. So say, I am a free soul. I am completely, positively, and eternally free. I am free from doubt, fear, or unhappiness today and forever. And so it is. And now back to Freddy with I Can See the Light.
Change the world. We have the wisdom. We have the power. We can move mountains and change the world. We have the wisdom. Yeah. We have the power. We can move mountains and change the world. We have the wisdom. We have the power. We can move mountains and change the world. Love is all I need, and love is all I see, and love is all I need, 'cause love is all I see. We have the wisdom, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world. We have the wisdom, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world. We have the wisdom, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world. We have the wisdom, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world. Yeah. 'Cause love is all I see. Love is all I see, 'cause love is all I need, and love is all I see. We have the wisdom, yeah, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world. We have the wisdom, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world, yeah. 'Cause love is all I need, and love is all I see, and love is all I need, and love is all I see. We have the wisdom, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world. We have the wisdom, we have the power, we can move mountains and change the world.
Everyone, and welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love, a spiritual community teaching ancient wisdom and applying universal principles to embody the intelligence of the divine and to empower our lives and the lives of others. Well, thank you, Freddie, for that wonderful lead-in song. That's what we're here for. We're here to change the world so that it's a better place, so that we are better people, and that we are in a place to really engage life. And so on this last Sunday rather of the month, as we look forward to the next month coming up, this theme for the month has been a pause for guidance, a pause for guidance. And today we're going to explore the idea, sort of wrapping everything up in this idea of evolutionary awareness, evolutionary awareness. And so as we welcome everybody, we welcome the CSL family in this morning. I'm glad to be here. And one thing I want to just make you aware of, if you're not already, fall is in the air. So I'm waking up in the morning and I'm feeling that crisp, bright, damp fall morning, and I know that things are about to change. I know in a few more weeks the leaves will be changing and things will be moving in another evolutionary process of life. And so when we look at this whole idea of evolutionary awareness, I like to define it as the process of perceiving facts seen and unseen that allow us to connect to life itself and to witness the growth pattern that is inherent in all things. Now, one thing let's make clear, that there's often some times where I even myself get this idea of awareness and awakening kind of mixed up. And we also hear this idea about, the process of awakening. And I'm here to permit that awakening is a momentary action. It's something that happens. It's sudden. It's quick. And what happens after that awareness is this evolutionary process of awareness. Once we wake up or awaken to this spontaneous idea of seeing that everything is connected, there's a oneness in life, and that there's this way of looking at things after that moment that never loses sight of who you are and what you are. Now, you may go in and out of consciousness about that awareness, but I would imagine that each and every one of us has had a moment where, whether it was a second or a minute or a day or a week, where we had something happen in our lives and we had an awakening to the connectedness of life and to the allness of life, and that we lost it somewhere, but we never forget it. So we always have that touchstone of what the awakening moment is. And so after we have that awareness that we are all connected and there's life in everything and everything is connected, we then begin to move through this evolutionary awareness of who and what we are, what life is, and how we navigate. And so once we've had that, I know for me, and I would imagine it may be the same for you, the ultimate question comes up is, how do I stay connected to that awakening moment? How do I stay plugged in? And what are the tools that I need to enhance that and support that? And lastly, once I do that, how do I find my calling? How do I tune into that piece of awareness that says yes? Now, I like to share this from our founder, Ernest Holmes. He says this: there is something within you that sings the song of eternity. Listen to it. There's something in you that sings the song of eternity. Listen to it. Because there is that understanding within you. There is that awareness of what life is and how we connect and how things actually are, that is always in there. We have to allow ourselves to be aware of it. Once we are awakened, we have to be aware of it. Now, some of you may remember this song by John Denver, who was a friend of CSL, and he had this song, and it was sung at one point with the Muppets. It was called "It's in Every One of Us." And I'd like just to read one little stanza because I think it brings home this point. It says, it's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. Now, that was a powerful lyrics from John Denver, speaking to this whole idea of evolutionary awareness. Because once we become awakened to who we are and what reality is, that in that moment, this wisdom, this awareness of life and how we all connect is present. And for us to stay there and to keep it moving forward, as John Denver says, we have to open our heart and open our eyes and just begin to be and allow it to be. By and by, it will unfold and we will put the puzzle together and we will see what life really is and what this spiritual awakening is, right? Because actually, I like to define spiritual awakening as just a matter of remembering. It's a matter of remembering who and what we are. And as John says, it's already in us. We just have to allow ourselves to open up to it. It's not about changing ourselves or knowing ourselves better. We already know internally who and what we are. But through this process of evolutionary awakening, we are allowing ourselves this unfoldment of remembrance, this ability to as we say sometimes, have these deja vu moments and we say, oh, wow, I've been here before. I've done this before. That's because it is inherent in you what it is that you are. And so that moment, that deja vu moment is trying to remind you, wake up, get in line. This is the evolutionary process. Your soul is eternal. You are becoming more and more of who you are. Not that you're not that already, but you're coming more of it because you're remembering it. And it allows you to open up more and to see more and to do more. And in the end, to be more. Because that's the ultimate thing that we're all trying to do. We're trying to be successful in life. We're trying to have happiness and joy in our life. And to do that, we must continue to incorporate the nature of who we are and allow ourselves to be open. Now, as we go through this process of awakening, if you will, and really it's this process of evolutionary awareness that we're speaking of, I like to make a metaphor of that, sort of like the idea of a rocket ship. And so when the past few weeks we've seen, Jeff Bezos and Bronson have these flights into space, right? And they went up into space and they floated and they got at the atmosphere and came back down. And if you watched any of those launches, when you watched the launching of those rockets, the ignition point, the moment they got to zero, that was the awakening point. It was in a flash. The rocket ignited. But just like that rocket, awareness and awakening for us is the same. It's a flashing moment. But to really get the benefit of that rocket launch, to really get to the point that you have planned to go to, we must do just like the rocket. We must pull ourselves away from gravity. And to get out of gravity so that we can go in orbit, there's a speed that we have to maintain. There's an angle or declination that we have to maintain. There's a timing that has to be in place for that launch to go to the desired place, whether it's just in Earth orbit or whether it's to the moon or eventually to Mars. And so this metaphor of a rocket having to have that initial point that excites and ignites us and we become awakened, then we have to go through the process of keeping the right speed and the right angle and the timing and get this path or this trajectory in line so that we can call the launch truly a success. And that's what we're doing. We're in this thing called life, and we were launched into it. And now we have to navigate. We have to keep it alive within ourselves. Now, Reverend Beckwith says this: spiritual awakening is a journey of the heart. Each person's heart is a flame to know its true nature, to commune with its source, to commune with its source. Because that's the process, is to remember where we came from. We've heard it countless times that we are stardust, right? And that everything around us is made from this big bang, if you will, this star that exploded. And through it, we created life, or God created life. And we are now on this evolutionary journey of awakening and being aware of who and what we are. And so as we embark on this awareness journey, and we awaken to the true, wonderful gifts of who each and every one of us are, I'd like to give 3 things on how we do that, or what that process is, or what this engagement is. The first thing is we must become self-aware. We must become self-aware. We look around us in these current times of all kinds of change and turmoil, and we have to be self-aware in this environment. Whether it's an economic environment, a medical environment, a political environment, we have to be aware of who and what we are, and that requires us to tap into a guidance system. It requires us to tap into a guidance system. Now, I have this quote here by Edowumi Koyanaki. I know I'm messing his name up, but he has a book out called On Success, and he says this: a highly developed value system is like a compass. It serves as a guide to point you in the right direction when you are lost. It serves to point us in the right direction when you are lost. And so right now, some of us would think, based on where we are and where we find ourselves, that we're kind of lost. We look at society, we look at the things around us, and we are not aware of what's going on, it appears. And so that awareness of how we make things better, how we deal with the challenges that we are faced in life, we must become self-aware. We must become aware of the thing itself: God, creative source, power, spirit, however you want to frame it. We must become aware of that so that we can tap into it, understand it, work with it. And then once we've done that and we become self-aware and we are in line, or ready to align ourselves, then the next thing obviously is alignment. We have to align ourselves with this principle, with this spirit, with this way of living, and recognizing who we are so that we can fulfill our life's calling. Now, as we think about this spiritual alignment, I found this from Brian Tracy, and I think it's so appropriate. He says this: just as a car runs faster, smoother, and requires less energy when the wheels are in alignment, you too perform better when your thoughts, feelings, emotions, goals, and values are in balance. Now, that's what we're aiming to do. Once we become self-aware and we awaken to who and what we are, the next thing we do is align with the source. How do we put ourselves so that we run smoothly? We benefit from all the goodness of life, and we allow God to just be the compass of how we navigate space and how we move through the challenges and how we actualize exactly who and what we are. And so when that happens, we understand, I'm sure, that there's some bumps and bruises that happen when you try to find this alignment, because the nature of alignment is moving about and bumping things and putting things in proper perspective so that we are in alignment for our highest good. And the way to do that, I think is the best way to do, is self-care. Self-care. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to get the proper amount of sleep, eat correctly, do some exercise, have some spiritual practice, some reading, some journaling, whatever it may be, spiritual mind treatment, prayer, however you want to define it. Once you become self-aware and you know who you are and that we are all connected and there's a oneness of life, and that for us to self-actualize, that we must align with these principles, these laws that are always in effect, that they're always working. And whether you plug into it or not does not negate the fact that it is there. You always hear me say electricity always existed. It was just waiting on us to develop instruments to plug into it. And once we do that, once we are in alignment, now we have to take care. Just like that car, every once in a while, we need to take it back to the shop and get the wheels balanced and get them aligned so that we are continually running smooth and running as fast as we can and in balance. Now, for self-care, Parker Palmer says this: self-care is never a selfish act. It is simply good stewardship of the only gift I have, or we have, or you have, the gift I was put on earth to offer to others. That's what each and every one of us are. We are gifts to each other. We are reminders to each other so that we can begin to put ourselves in this evolutionary awakening process so that we become aware of who we are and aware of what powers we have and what we're here to do. And then at that point, we just do it. You know, I hate to use the overused slogan of Nike, just do it. See, that's because when we can do that, when we can allow that to come through us, then we can say yes to life, all of life. And so I want to, as before I close, and I want to put this whole idea of self-awareness and spiritual alignment and self-care in perspective. Now, there's this process that takes place annually, and I'm sure once I say it, everyone will have some remembrance of it or awareness of it, and that is the Serengeti migration. This migration of the zebras and the wildebeest and the gazelles that annually take a migration from Kenya to Tanzania in a circular form. Now, as I was looking at this, it was surprising to me, actually amazing to me, that whole Serengeti migration covers about 29,000 kilometers or 18,000 miles. Just think about that. 18,000 miles on the Serengeti migration from Kenya to Tanzania. Now, as they during this migration, they're in search of food and water and happiness and success that will make them thrive and grow. But in this journey, they have to be self-aware because there are predators along the way that are aware of when this migration happens. Like, I think it's from May to December. And they are aware of it, and they sit and wait for that migration so that they can do what they do. And so throughout this journey, there's an awareness that has to take place. There's an awareness, and it's an evolutionary awareness because this has been happening for centuries, for millennia. And in this journey, they know that there will be uphill battles and predators and they'll have to kick in the survival instincts. But more than that, It's an opportunity for them to continue to learn and to grow and to become aware of the evolutionary thing called life. And so as we face now this new season that's about to come, whether it's the season of fall or it's the new season of life itself, as we move through the challenges that we're currently faced with, we begin to open up to this idea of evolutionary awareness and this migration from one state of consciousness to another state of consciousness as we learn and learn the landscape. And so I would invite you this week, as we continue to steep ourselves in this pause for the cause, as you would say, or this idea of pausing for guidance, that we think about this process of this migration of evolving from one thing to another and allowing ourselves to be open at the heart. And so as we do that this week, I'd like to invite you on this call to action. Sometimes during the week, go sit in a park and just observe. Be aware of what's going on around you and journal on what you see, what you feel, what you perceive. Because this is how we get in tune with life. This is how we begin to understand who and what we are. And so I would be very interested next week to get some feedback on that, just to take a moment just to find out what was discovered in those moments of observations. And so as we close now and we look at an affirmation to anchor this whole idea of evolutionary awareness in our hearts and in our minds and in our daily lives, I'd like to present this. Today, I reemerge fully nourished, restored, and renewed. Today, I reemerge fully nourished, restored, and renewed. I've taken the pause. I understand what life is, who I am within it, and I am aware of where we're moving. And so I come forth renewed with that idea. And so with that, let's just close our eyes if it feels comfortable to you and go within and open ourselves up to the divine guidance of God. And so as we just take this moment right here, right now, to open our heart's eye, to open the feeling of love and joy and success and all those things that make up life. Because as we open ourselves to that, we begin to remember who we are. We remember that we are life. We are connected and that we are endowed with certain powers and rights and understandings and intuitions that are placed in every soul by the divine mind of God. And as we allow ourselves to relax into that idea and to understand that we are here to be all that we can be, to be as magnificent as we can envision, to be as effective as we can stay committed and aligned to the principles of life. And when we do that, we open up into a big vista, a vista of grand glory and beauty of life and connectedness and success and health and well-being. And we are aware of this connected, so we begin to take care of ourselves and the environment and everything and everyone we see in a way that will allow us all to keep rising to the top. And so right here, right now, I declare and I know that each and every one of us on this call and those that might listen later are awakened to the idea of life itself. And that we are putting the right things and the right people in the right places in their proper perspective so that we all rise together. And so it is in that rising together where everyone has the opportunity to be what they were meant to be that I give thanks. I give thanks for that awareness. I give thanks for the excitement within each and every one of our hearts to explore that and to know that it is sure to happen as we keep the mind of God in sight. And so with that, I just release, let go, and know that it is so, knowing that there is no place where God is not. And in that, I say, and so it is, amen, amen, and amen. And so it is now that time of spiritual giving and understanding for our offering. And so we are so grateful and blessed for everyone's support for CSL Denver during this time, for your time, treasures, or just your thoughts of prosperity. Whether it's your first time joining us or you're a returning community participant, we want to thank you. And we hope you continue to support us as we continue to strive to support the community. If you see the information running across the bottom of the screen, there are several ways you can give. You can give with the cell phone by texting the number running across the bottom. You can go to our website, www.csldenver.org, and click the donate button. Or you can send a check or money order to CSL Denver, P.O. Box 300-416, Denver, Colorado 80203. But however you give, we appreciate it. And if you now will take that gift and tithe and place it to your heart, or just put your hand on your heart and repeat after me our affirmation. This perfect gift is spirit informed, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive, and so it is. Amen.
As the Spirit we shall receive. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Secret endless possibilities. From the start of time, it was planned deep inside our minds. Some remember how it goes. Galactic show. Glory, glory, hallelujah. As the Spirit and you shall receive. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Secret endless possibilities. Thoughts of things think pure. Materialize, that's for sure. Why can't we all believe to let the universe give all we need? Glory, glory, hallelujah. As the Spirit and you shall receive. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The secret endless possibilities.
Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Reverend Elzia. Wonderful talk. I wanted to read before I started the announcements, I wanted to just read a quick thing from a fellow practitioner in his opening prayer. He said, "We are in the dog days of summer as Labor Day is approaching. There is a lot going on in the country and in the world of effects. It is up to us to speak our word affirmatively, to claim our good, which is always available. We do this through our faith in God and our divinity through our union with God and the entire universe. We know that it is done unto us as we believe, and that when we ask, we shall receive. It is up to us through daily spiritual practices to raise our consciousness, strengthen our faith, and allow the truth to set us free. So that's a wonderful ending to our service, and some after-service announcements here at CSL Denver. We want you to know that we are here for you to celebrate or hold space for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. We would love to pray with you for celebrations or challenges. Our names and phone numbers are on our website at www.csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, please email it to info@cslddenver.org, and it will be treated very confidentially. And as it mentioned at the beginning of the service, we are having our usual virtual fellowship on Zoom this morning. We would love for you to come join us at fellowship and let us know how you're doing. If you didn't receive the Zoom invitation earlier this morning, please send an email to info@cslddenver.org and mention fellowship, and we'll send you a Zoom invitation right away. And please mark your calendars for Sunday, September 12th. That's in 2 Sundays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right after service, Mountain Daylight Time, as I will be facilitating a workshop on moving from drama to empowerment. We will discuss the Cartman's drama triangle and the empowerment dynamic as taught by David Emerald, and discuss various ways to move out of the drama in your life into empowerment in your life. The cost is a love offering. The workshop will be held via Zoom. So if you're interested in attending, please send an email to info@cslddenver.org to receive your Zoom invitation link closer to the time of the class. And we're hoping to get back together soon in person as soon as our building opens up. In the meantime, we're planning some classes and events. So if you're not on our mailing list already, please send an email to info@cslddenver.org and ask to be put on our mailing list. We promise to only send 1 email a week letting you know what's going on. And if you've got some suggestions, I was sitting here during the service listening to Reverend Elzia and the reading that I had, and I'm thinking maybe we should do something, a Zoom on spiritual practices, things that we can do to deepen our work with the Spirit. And knowing that New Thought Media Network also has a lot of other programs by different practitioners and ministers. So check them out on Facebook and YouTube. We are so grateful that they are supporting us by producing our Sunday services. And meanwhile, we hope you have a wonderful week and affirm right here and right now that 2021 is truly blessed and perfect in all that it is. We love you. We miss you. Please take care of yourselves. So let's close out with, well, I'm not sure because we kind of switched our announcements. So have a wonderful week. We love you.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience? Or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.